Good evening. Welcome to Sissy's Cards and Crafts and my studio or my craft room. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Eastern Ontario, Canada, and I would like to do a quick card tonight. I'm kind of tired, don't have a lot of time before I have to crash and go to bed. So I thought I would pull out this DSP. Now, it's part of the scrapbooking set. So if you go into the scrapbooking stuff, that's where you find it. And it's really, really awesome. I've seen so many demonstrators do stuff with it, and it's just so beautiful. So as always, it's two-sided, and you get amazing two sides. These colors in it are Gray Granite, Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, Pecan Pie, Pretty Peacock, Very Vanilla, and Wild Wheat. So I really like the Wild Wheat and that Lost Lagoon. I think are awesome. So then there's, I think, three sheets of everything. So four, I apologize. Unlike our regular DSP, you don't get quite as many patterns, but you get more sheets. So we have this set. It almost looks like it's a bit of a water stain on that. It's the same on all of them. So unless it's not a stain. But I think it's kind of cool. Add some texture. This is the back side, and you can see the same sort of staining there. I really think that's sweet. I'd like to use that with the Storybook Friends. I think will be cute. So then this set with this beautiful little rose pattern. This one with this pattern. So kind of a beachy sort of feel. And I thought that's the one we would use tonight. So you do get more sheets, but less patterns. Whereas we usually get 6 patterns, 2 of each, 2 sheets of each pattern. Here we're getting kind of the same amount of paper, but less options. It also came with this sheet, and this sheet is cardstock. It is just the one sheet, but it's stickers. So you don't need any stamps. You don't need anything. If you have this set, of course, you could scrapbook with it, but we're going to do a card with it. So no stamping, no die cutting, just some cutting. And before we actually do the cutting, I thought I would show you how to change the blades on your paper trimmer. Again, just some features of these trimmers. They're really quite amazing. Like I say, I've used a few other trimmers. Price matters. The cheaper ones, like the ones you might get at the real discount stores, they just don't cut well at all. For maybe some basic crafting, they're fine, but I found they never cut straight. Then other things that make this one a little bit better, and again, I've mentioned it before, but I just want to go over it again, is we have something, I'm going to call it a wall, and there's edges here or that wall that stops my paper, and it doesn't just go to this point. Like here's our cutting track where that ruler falls in, so it's indented. A lot of trimmers don't have anything there to stop, so I actually have something there to stop me. And if I wanted to cut, that comes to 3/4 of an inch. So if I wanted to cut something 3/4 of an inch or less, it'd be very tricky if I didn't have those edges to kind of line up against. And the same is true for the bottom. So that's one amazing thing. 2, I have an inch and a half on this side of the trimmer that I can use to guide. So if I wanted just 1/2 inch, I could line it up with the other side, the right side of the trimmer. And again, I've got this edge to stop, and then I can fold my ruler down. Now, the bonus of this is, see, I still have an edge to hold on to here. Whereas if I wanted to do 3/4 an inch here, or even an inch here, and I close this, I don't hardly have any paper to hold on to sturdy it. So having this side really helps. And also there is no little edge or wall here. So when I do cut, especially if I cut a little piece off, so let me just show you here. Let's just do like 1/8 of an inch right there. So I can line it up, hold it here. Got that blade, it comes up. I can get that little tiny piece. And it's hard to pick that up sometimes. So I can just slide it across and it will slide right off this end. So that makes it easy to do that way as well. So those are really great. The other thing is my blade goes in a track here. So I can line up, especially if I've got lines or something I want to see on this paper. I can see exactly where my cut is going to be, and this lines in that. Other trimmers, the blade just kind of cuts on the side. It rolls on one side, and then it's just this side of the ruler where it cuts. And I find they're just not as precise. Another feature, I have a full 6 inches here. So all of our cards, or the majority of our cards, are 6 inches or less. And so I very seldom have to open this up. I've got it. And right up to this edge here, another wall or an edge here, is 6 inches. So it makes it quite easy to make those cuts. My measurements are right along here. I've got inches and centimeters, really, really handy. Inches along here. You can get a metric ruler. The only downfall is these are clear. What everybody does is takes a big long piece of tear and tape and sticks that down. So then I have a white edge here. You could also use some paint, nail polish or something to go under there, but with it clear, it's kind of difficult to see. So that's kind of the downfall of this. And then the lines continue all the way down. Plus I have a ruler here. So it's not just my inches or inches and a half or centimeters or whatever. I see it all here. Some have it kind of an indent or a debossed grid on yours, and that's fine, but it's sometimes hard to see depending on your lighting. So that is another benefit. And then the measurements are the same down here as well. So depending on how you want to measure top or bottom. And then our ruler comes out, extends, and it goes right up to 17 inches, which is really, really nice. So I've shared I am a Cricut crafter, and you want to have more than 12 inches for sure for that ruler to extend. And when some of the trimmers are only 4 inches and then that ruler extends, sometimes you only get 12 inches, and that can be problematic. So to have this full 17 inches is beneficial for a lot of different crafts. And then you'll notice here, so last night I was kind of talking to you about it, but our white ruler ends here, but then they have embossed right here the nicks. So right, I've got 6 inches, and then I've got here 6 1/4. I can see that right there. It's hard for you to see, but it is something that is there. And so it's measured. We don't have those fine measurements like the millimeters or whatever, but I do have that baseline there. So that helps with that. So some really good things. Plus we get our scoring blade and our cutting blade. Some other popular trimmers, they come with that, but you have to switch them out. You can't store them both in your trimmer, which makes it a little problematic. You order a set of extra blades, and I suggest, you always grab them because you're going to need them at some point. And they're very, very sharp. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull this all the way down, and right here is a little bit of a, maybe you can see it if I put something dark under there. Maybe the light's gonna glare too much, but there's a little nick here, and that's where I want to run this and just kind of pull it out. Just wiggle it and pull it out a bit. And then the same for the new one. Before I put the new one in though, look at our markings. So there's our arrow here that is marking, showing a nick here, and then there's a nick on that side as well. And those nicks line up with our measurements so we can see how we want to cut. So if you only want to cut down so far, you can do that. There we go. But I'm trying to put it in the wrong way. So then just wiggle it in and slide it on that track, and away you go. All good. Okay, I'm just going to take a piece of tape. I like to tape these old ones up, so we're not going to have any sort of issue with that. I put them back in my holder just so I know they're used, but I can throw them out in the hole in the case. You know, safety first. If you knew my other world, you'd get it. Okay, so this really is the only tool we're going to need. I have some Lagoon here. I believe that's the name. Sorry, I'm forgetting everything here. It is tired tonight. Yes, Lagoon. And I've cut it lengthwise, so at my 4.5, and then I've scored at, or 4 1/4 rather, I've cut, and I've scored at 5.5. So I want to take this paper and I want to have a piece. So it's gonna be a portrait card. It's gonna fold up like this. So I want to have a piece of DSP to put behind it. I kind of want this beige here, this wild wheat pattern. So this is my 4 1/4. I'm going to come in here and do 4 1/8 and cut. Look at that, slides right through like nothing. 5 1/2 is the length, so I want to do 5 3/8 to cut. Oh my goodness, it's so nice to have a sharp plate. And that will go on there like that. Now it seems to me, oh yes, I cut this paper a little bit off kilter, so I had to square it up and cut off a little bit. So let's cut off that little bit. And guys, a lot of trimmers, you can't get a small amount off. I've cut less than that off and it works fine. Depending on your paper, the DSP, it's quite easy. The cardstock, especially a heavier cardstock, you might not get as nice clean cut, depending on how sharp your blade is too, right? Okay, so that's going to go on here like that. We're going to take our glue. We're going to glue it on. Oh, come on, here. There we go. Just a smidge is all we need. All right. Center that on. Layers, matting, just makes things look. I know when I first started doing cards, I didn't put as much stock into using the layers and different mats, colored mats, because, you know, it was more paper and I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the finances, so made it a little bit difficult to add all of those in. But now I've gathered more. So here, this is one piece. I kind of want just this green here. So what I want to do, and this is going to help think of that, prove to you what I meant about the lines on the edge there. I just want to cut it to this width of the DSP. So that's that, what did I say? It's 4 1/8. So if I come down here, yeah, okay. So I want to cut, because the sticker's here, so I don't need to cut that side. I want to cut right here. So I'm going to line this edge up with the cutting guide here, or the trough, basically, that the blade is going to go down in. Make sure my blade's up here. And I can see right down through there where that's going to cut. So that is awesome, right where I want it. I'm lining everything up with it. And sometimes, even if you're really want to make sure you're precise, you can pull that arm right up. And now that whole edge is going across. Now, how these little marks on the side that I showed you here and here, I want to bring that to 4 1/8. So, because I might want to use that doubled in a card. I don't want to cut this whole thing. I just want to cut what I need. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to go to 4 1/8. There we go. And you can see I've cut that right where I want it. And I've only gone this far. So now if I come up here and I line this up at 4 1/8, I can even go as far as cutting that little piece out with this trimmer. I have to get myself positioned around, but I can lift my ruler up. I'm actually going to put it in on the green, or the Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to slide it one way till I feel that edge, and then slide it the other way. So now I've cut right there. That's it. Just cut what I need, and that will come off. Look at that. Easy peasy. Okay, so I wanted to put this distance down just to give a nice little border there. And then I was going to use this here to put on there. Problem is I want that lifted up, and that's gonna, I'm just gonna pull this stash stuff under there. If I can't lift it up with it being a sticker, so it is straight edges. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it on this white cardstock, and then I'm just going to fussy cut it out, and that way I can put it up on some dimensionals. So just straight cuts is all it takes to do this. Oops, there we go. And if there's any edges that need to be cleaned up, maybe not. It's just my lighting here. It's not tricking my eye a little bit. Okay. So that's just, like I say, giving it a little lift so I can pop that up. One of the reasons I wanted to pop it up is because I thought of putting this little gorgeous ribbon. It's kind of a beachy look, either just above that or just below it. The other part I wanted to put on was this. Oh, sorry. I think I'm going to do this nothing but smiles. So that too, I'm going to have to just put on some cardstock because of the sticker aspect of it. So it's just going to go in here. Now, if I was doing scrapbooking, I'd really appreciate these stickers, and I do think it's kind of cool, and it's going to make things easy for some cards, but when you want to put them on dimensionals, it's just going to be a little bit too tricky. But easy fix, especially with just straight lines, right? Okay, so I'm thinking we're going to just put this here, this here. No, I'm going to put that lower. And then I'm going to put this maybe just below it. Do I want to use the ribbon? Yeah, I think that's what I want. I think that will work just like that. So I'm going to just cut it. This ribbon is still available. It came with Latte Love set, which I was going to use tonight, but it's all sold out unless you want the French version. It is such a sweet set. I really, really have enjoyed it and have done a lot with it, and will be one of my keepers because I am a coffee fiend and I think it's cute to use. But this ribbon is still available, and I think it's something like $4 or Canadian, so a great deal. And if you want to put ribbon on, any ribbon, especially something like that's like this, back it with that tear and tape, and then pull that off. And now I've just basically created a sticker, right? Now, how did I have that? Was it above or below? What was I decided on? I'm going to do above. All right, and then I'm going to put this on, and then we're going to put this up here, which will kind of be our center, like that. So some dimensionals for this. Where did I put my dimensionals? All right, up there. And I'm going to put this, use these ones up. A little bit too much. Okay. I don't want to pick that up another time. And we want to straddle that ribbon for sure because it's giving me some height, but that's also going to help support this, and why I didn't put any dimensionals in the middle there. Okay, so then this one here, we can just kind of measure and take off this and stick it just like that. Oops, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't want it quite that high. Yeah. So we're going to put dimensional on half of it and glue on half of it. That way the whole thing will adhere and it'll be the same plane as what I thought I had a good idea. I got glue on my scissors. Oh, I'm going to be spending time cleaning up tonight. All right, so just kind of center that on there. And there we go. How's that look? Nothing but smiles. we can open it up. We can put a piece of, well, I do have some cut already here. So I'll just grab one of these ones that's cut. Right, this one. We'll pop it in here. Nothing but smiles. And we could add you know what, this could just be a little bit of a note card. And so we'll just put in here this little heart. And then it can just be a little note card to give to somebody. And we won't put a sentiment in. So there we go. A nice little card to quick and easy. I like how it all coordinates. Gorgeous color. Yeah, just a couple little prep things and all good to go. All right, thanks so much. Have a good evening.